How's it going, YouTube? Crazy316 once again. You know, our friend Bill122460, we'll just call him Bill, he's made another masterpiece consisting of a lot of videos from the secret lives of women, husband beaters, and a clip concerning Joe Biden and his defense against the Violence Against Females Act. And what he's talking about here is that this act only empowers women more to be violent or to do whatever the hell they want and get away with it, and to just have men thrown in jail for defending themselves or doing nothing. I'm gonna post the links to the side to Bill's video and to the video concerning the secret lives of women husband beaters. And it's a good series to check out. You'll notice that in the series, probably about video 3 of the husband beaters, that the wife, she gets angry and she lunges at the husband with a knife. Okay, and the husband blocks the wife and kind of pushes her back, but she twists a little bit, and I guess he gets her in the mouth a little bit, and so this infuriated, evil, diabolical wife calls the police. Okay, 4 sheriffs show up at the house, and they ask her a couple questions, and all they're concerned about is trying to arrest him. But when the husband steps back and shows the sheriffs the knife and tries to explain to them that his wife just tried to kill him, and this woman is like a doctor or something, she works in a hospital or something like that, she knows where to strike the vital organs, you know what I'm saying? So she tried to strike him in the neck right about where that vital vein is that will, you cut that, you're dead. He blocked it, and he tried to explain to them that if he didn't block it, he would have been dead. And all they did was draw out their guns and tell him to step away from the knife and put your hands behind your back. All they were concerned about was arresting him. They did not want to hear his side of the story at all. Okay, he did nothing to her but block her attack on him that would have killed him. And the sheriffs were only interested in trying to arrest him. Before I go any further, I wanted to let you guys know that when it comes to the Violence Against Women's Act that Joe Biden had started preparing, Barack Hussein Obama was in a speech, and Bill has this in that video, you'll see it. Okay. Now, we all know that Barack Hussein Obama is a diabolical fiend and a fascist scumbag. Okay. Now, when he was talking about the act, he was saying Joe Biden has been preparing this act, and this is one of the reasons why I'm choosing him to be the vice president. He was like, by the way, Senator John McCain voted against this act. This scumbag tried to put on a facade that McCain was against women getting help and that he didn't care about women having violence towards them and all that. But McCain didn't vote on it because it was highly one-sided. It favored women, and it gave them the power to put, like I said, men in jail, men that aren't even doing anything wrong. I'm not saying that all of them are doing nothing wrong, but I mean a whole lot of them in a whole lot of cases, probably the majority now, are being thrown in jail and are being wrongly accused of certain things, and the government and the police just don't care. And this bill only gives women this special power to be able to falsely accuse men of doing heinous acts, to empower them in their guerrilla chest-beating power struggle to dominate men and to get whatever the hell they want. Now, that being said, ABC News, and God knows I don't like them, however, they made a video recreating events of domestic violence in the public to see what the public's responses were going to be. And I'll post a link to that video in the side as well, as soon as I find it. Well, they had the husband, or the man, raising his hand at the woman and yelling at the woman in the public, and people's responses were to try to, protect or come to the aid of the woman. However, when it was the man that was being yelled at, and the woman was actually hitting on him, one specific woman actually was like, "You go, girl." What kind of nonsensical type of thinking is that? You go, girl, when a woman is being violent against a man. But that would not be the same reaction from that lady if it were the other way around. When it was a man walking by, looking at what was happening, he was just walking by talking about, they interviewed these people later, and he's talking about he didn't think he needed any help, or that, that the man could handle the situation. But if it were the other way around, he said he would definitely have been biased against the man and towards the woman. So this tells you about society's logic. It's completely flawed due to the nature of the laws that our government has given these women and allowing them to act like they're acting. What we really need to do is attack what is allowing them to act like animals like this. And of course, we don't mean all women. We're talking about the ones who are doing this. So even so, in my own case, my own wife used to try to be physical with me, and I've had to wrestle her down quite a few times. And that's not a good idea at all, because even if you do so much as that, you could go to jail because you're defending yourself without hitting her, yet you did some wrong and she didn't, even though she was beating on you and you just had to wrestle her down and hold her down to stop the beating. After a couple of times of being wrestled down, she quickly realized it was not in her best interest to try to hit on me. Anyhow, that was all in the past. She doesn't do that anymore. What if she was one of those, hell-bent women, bitter as hell, hell-bent on seeking some extreme revenge to try to ruin my life? She could have absolutely tried to call police or whatever and say that I was hitting on her, and of course they'll believe her, and they'll take me in. But that's not the case, so. And given her circumstances, she wouldn't have wanted to call the police anyway. See, even the Bible says in Proverbs 21:9 that it is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. I'm telling you, it's in there. Proverbs 21:9. Juanita Bynum and Bishop Weeks, I believe that's his name. Remember when he walked out that hotel because he was trying to cool off and get away from the situation? Well, her and her ghetto thug self, her Beyonce spirit-filled self, decided to follow him outside and further instigate him. And when he had enough, he finally snapped and turned around and clocked her. Now, I'm not saying that he was in the right for doing that. He was completely in the wrong. However, she too was in the wrong for instigating a fight. She instigated that, not him. He walked away to cool off, to avoid hitting her. When a man walks away, you do not follow, trying to get your point across. But look who's the victor. Look who has it all. Look who's in the limelight now. And look who's boasting about being on top of the game, while the other one suffers and struggles for being instigated. Part of it was his fault, so there is definitely a bias against men. Absolutely. Even if a man is trying to defend himself and does nothing to the woman, he is going to jail while she's held up on a pedestal and is worshipped for some ungodly, unknown reason. I highly, highly doubt you females want true, and I mean completely straight equality. I highly doubt this, because if you really did, you would have to be on the same level, the same exact level. So if you go out and attack a man, and one, there are some out there that will, attacks you back and clobbers you and pounds you into tomorrow, the system will not be there to protect you. Both of you would be going to jail, not just one. The system won't be there to baby you and cuddle you and to give you all these extra special rights. You'll be on the same level. The percentage of abusive women and cheating women have dramatically increased because they know they can get away with it. They know they can get away with a hell of a lot because of the court system, and that they can walk away with half a man's fortune or more than half that he's worked very hard for in his life. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out on the whole domestic violence issue. This is Crazy 316. I'm out.